Welcome and thank you for tuning in. I am Sergeant David Mushia, working in a program on mental health and addiction. Addiction affects millions of people across the globe and exists in different forms, varying from mild to severe. Addiction have detrimental effects on the individuals, their family, friends, and the society. There are, however, recognizable patterns of the downward spiral into addiction. With preventive awareness, this pattern can be arrested, or temporary intervention can be applied in such a case. I recovered from addiction and I am now an addiction counselor. When I look back at my experience with addiction, I never intended to get into addiction, and nobody does. But like many people who uses this substance or alcohol, either socially or experimental, many of us progressively get into substance use dependence, which lead to substance use disorders. So, how can we recognize that what we call social or experimental drinking is getting out of control? What are those signs or patterns of use? It could be that can indicate a person is having a problem with alcohol and drug use. Family member, a friend, a colleague, or even an employee. How do you know that such a person needs intervention or help? The Diagnostic and Statistical Manual for Mental Disorder, DSM-5, was developed by the American Psychiatrists Association. It defines substance use disorder as a problematic patterns of use of any intoxicating substance leading to a clinically significant impairment or distress as manifested by at least two or more of the following criteria happening within a period of 12 months. Number one, alcohol or the substance is taken in larger amounts or over a longer period of time than it was intended. For example, a person will intend to take 1 glass of wine or 1 bottle of beer, but he or she find himself taking more or taking a longer duration than he or she expected. Number two, a persistent desire or unsuccessful efforts to either cut down, stop, or control the use of alcohol or substance. A person, for one reason or the other, may intend to control, minimize use, or even stop the use of alcohol or substance, but in vain. Number three, a greater deal of time is spent in activities necessary for obtaining the substance, using the substance, or recovering from its effects, including the time that a person is experiencing the hangovers and all that. This person is using a lot of time trying to acquire the substance, the drug of the choice, using the same, and recovering from its effects. Number four, craving or a desire or a compulsion urge to use a substance or alcohol. A comparable example could be It could be an urge to pass urine, which can be very uncomfortable. The same case applies to the cravings or the urge to take substance or alcohol. Number 5, tolerance. Tolerance is characterized by the need to increase a considerable amount of the substance in order to achieve intoxication or the desired effect. This could be because of the diminishing effect of the continued use of the same amount of substance. Number 6, the recurrent use of substance results to failure in fulfilling major role obligations, maybe at work, school, or home. For example, a person is not able to continue working or absent himself from work. Such person also cannot be able to perform in school or be able to provide for the family or any other obligations in a family setting. Number 7, continued use of the substance or the alcohol despite a persistent or recurrent social or interpersonal problems. For instance, family conflicts, marriage breakdowns, etc. But such a person continue to use the substance despite the use being the major cause or being the one of the contributing factor to his or her predicament. This person will continue to use the substance or alcohol despite having recurrent problems socially, psychologically, or interpersonal problems. Number 8, important social, occupational, or recreational activities are given up or reduced because of the use of the substance or alcohol. All the activities are concentrated to the drug or the substance or the alcohol use, and any other activities diminishes to matter to such person. Number 9, there is a continued use despite knowledge of having a persistent or recurrent physical or psychological problem caused by use of this substance or alcohol. For example, a person may be diagnosed with a chronic condition and probably advised to stop using such substance because they might affect his or her well-being. But such person will continue to use the alcohol and substance despite having the knowledge of its effect on his or her condition at that particular situation. Number 10, withdrawals. Withdrawals are manifested by that strong desire or sense of compulsion to take the substance, probably because they may be painful, are very uncomfortable. To avoid such painful withdrawals, then the person will continue the use. Another manifestation of withdrawals can be the difficulty in controlling the substance taking behavior in terms of its onset, termination, or the levels of use. Number 11, recurrent use of the substance or alcohol in situations which can be physically hazardous. For example, drunk driving or drinking while driving. These instances are physically hazardous both to the user and to the others. By becoming aware of such patterns in addiction, we can be able to, number one, instead of reacting to what might happen when a person gets into addiction, we can decide to proactively increase awareness on this critical issue and help in prevention. Prevention is better than cure. It will also help us to get involved in raising awareness about addiction for, for our benefit, for the sake of all the significant others in our lives, and for a drug-free society. Finally, by understanding the medical nature of addiction, we can start to bring down the walls of stigma. And by doing so, we will be encouraging those people who are affected to come out and seek help they require. Stigma attached to mental health and addiction is the biggest challenge towards recovery. It's the biggest challenge towards addressing the same. Kindly, wherever you are, reach out to another person, at least one person, and spread a message of hope. Thank you.